My sisters and brothers, the Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus came from Galilee to John at the Jordan River to be baptized by him. John tried to prevent him, saying, "I need to be baptized by you, and yet you are coming to me?" Jesus said to him in reply, "Allow it for now, for thus it is fitting for us to fulfill all righteousness." Then he allowed it. After Jesus was baptized, he came up from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened for him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and coming upon him. And a voice came from the heavens, saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
A priest friend of mine was celebrating the baptism of a 6-week-old baby not long ago. And he told me that the baby was held in his mother's arms and was sleeping very soundly. And he went to pour the water, and just as he poured the water, before he did, the baby just jerked up, very alert. And he poured the water and completed the baptism. Afterwards, he kind of mentioning it to the mother of the baby. He said, "You know, it kind of shocked me that the baby became alert just before I poured the water." She said, "You're darn right, I pinched his toe, so he'd come to life. I didn't want him sleeping during his baptism." We'll come back to that. When I hear the word baptism, I think of two things. Two things we have in abundance: water and light. Let's talk about water first. Was anyone awake yesterday for that big thunder and lightning storm outside? Yes? Amazing. We have a park and a little willow brook, it's called, in front of our house. It was almost overflowing. Water is something we have in abundance. I kind of like to have water with me all the time. For Christmas, Santa Claus brought the friars a SodaStream machine. And Father Paul was gracious enough to put my name on it, so I won't lose it. But water is so common for us, we love it, right? We drink it, we get hydrated, we use it to water our plants, we use it to wash, we use it to bathe, we use it to swim in, we use it to fish in, we use it to sail on, to transport stuff on. You all know that the beach, the water, is my favorite place in the whole world, just to look at it. But you know, we could take water for granted. Case in point. Middle of the summer, maybe. Mid-morning on a Saturday, I was going out for one of my longer runs. And anybody who knows me in the summertime, I perspire very, very heavily. When I got back, couldn't wait for the shower, and I turned it on, and nothing. Nobody told me that the city was fixing the water main that morning. And you know, smelcome to my manhood, there was not enough Old Spice to take care of my stank. Okay? And I stank. We could take advantage of water, take it for granted. We could take our baptism for granted as well. Here's how. Anybody have a light? Let us have an apple. Do you all recognize this? You do? Yes, Gianna?
It's a candle candle where you get at your baptism?
Oh, shut the front door. It is a baptismal candle, and yours may or may not have looked like this, but mine certainly did. It was pure white, and when it was given to me at my baptism, here were the words, "Receive the light of Christ." Now, of course, I was an infant, so I couldn't receive anything. But my parents and godparents received it for me, and here were the words the priest or deacon said. It was a priest. "Parents and godparents, this light is entrusted to you to be kept burning brightly. This child of yours has been enlightened by Christ. He or she is to walk always as a child of the light. May he or she keep the flame of faith alive in his or her heart. When the Lord comes, may he or she go out to meet him with all the saints in the heavenly kingdom." Beautiful words, no? And I needed you to hear them, even though you may have remembered them from your baptism, but odds are you didn't. Father Bryant and I were talking at dinner on Friday, and he told me that in the old world Irish places, when a young child celebrates their birthday, there's a wonderful cake with candles, but then the family brings out the baptismal candle and lights it for the child and all the family to see, as a reminder that, yes, not only is the child advancing one more year, but the child is still a beloved child of God. Some of you may know, who follow me on Facebook, that my dad on Friday evening, right during Brian's and my dinner, had a fall. He collapsed, was eating, he just fell off the chair, and my sister called 911, and I was a little bit apprehensive and anxious all throughout dinner. I hadn't heard how he was doing. And Father Bryant told me another story about Old World Irish. He said when some person is on their deathbed in hospice or in the hospital, the family brings their baptismal candle to them, puts it in their hand, light it. I'm sure they have to support it and hold it. And when that person takes their final and last breath, the family blows it out. Because that person no longer needs to be reminded that they are the light of Christ, that they have the light of Christ. They are seeing Christ in his resurrected state, in his brilliance, face to face. We can easily take our baptism for granted. I came across this, which helps me not to. It's a Hasidic Jewish tale that tells the story of a rabbi quizzing his students. He asked, "How can we determine the hour of dawn when the night ends and the day begins?" One of the students suggested, "Day begins when from a distance you can distinguish between a dog and a sheep." "No," answered the rabbi. Another student asked, "Is it when you can distinguish between a fig tree and a grapevine?" Again, the rabbi answered, "No." "Please tell us the answer then," said the students. "It is," said the rabbi, "when you can look into the face of other human beings and you have enough light in you to recognize them as your brother or sister." Is that not marvelous? One more time. It's when you can look into the face of other human beings and you have enough light in you to be able to recognize them as your brother or sister. We have received the light of Christ. We could take our baptism for granted. We could be sleeping through our baptism. Baptism is a once-in-a-lifetime event, but it's something we live out daily by strengthening and nourishing our faith, being men and women of prayer, being willing to put ourselves last over and above anybody who needs our assistance. If we act like the light of Christ that we are, then we are sleeping through our baptism. And we will